I'm here with my friend Glenn.
Hello.
And we are beginning a great adventure. For me, it's a solo adventure. Normally there's 5 other people going along, but this time it's just me and Glenn, and we're gonna go tackle a bucket list item for us to backpack on Isle Royale, which is the largest island in the largest lake in the world, Lake Superior, up in Michigan. So we got a long 10-hour journey ahead of us to get to Copper Harbor on the Keweenaw Peninsula, where we'll take a ferry boat over there and begin our adventure. We have made it to the UP. Feels like I was just here, but it was last summer. To Copper Harbor. We have made it to Copper Harbor up here on the Keweenaw Peninsula, and we've got our tents, and I'm sleeping in a hammock set up for tonight, and we're gonna go into town and grab a bite to eat. We have to catch a boat early tomorrow morning that will take us to Isle Royale, and it's 4 hours, I think, 3 to 4 hour boat ride. Hopefully we'll have calm seas. It's not too windy here right now, so hopefully the weather holds and we'll have a nice sunny calm ride over there tomorrow. It's kind of crazy to be back here on the shores of Lake Fanny Ho. We were here last summer as a family when we did our trip through the UP, and it kind of seems like I was just here yesterday, but it's been over a year. But it's still just as beautiful as it was then. So we'll be here for the night, and then we'll be heading over to the island. We are having our last meal here in civilization before we head out into the wilderness. So hopefully this tides us over, right? Bright and early, it's 7 a.m. here, and we are getting ready to board the boat. I've got my Dramamine in, so hopefully I don't get any seasickness. I have never taken a boat ride for this long of a distance across rough water, so it'll be interesting. We're ready to go though, and there's the boat right back there behind me. It's a pretty decent sized boat, so hopefully it won't be too rough of a ride. We are underway.
Now, 53rd year of service for my family out to Isle Royale. I am now in my 23rd season as a licensed captain here, but I've been working for Isle Royale and on this ferry line for now 33 summers. This morning, making sure everything is copacetic with the ferry to get us there safely.
We are leaving Copper Harbor back there in the distance. I believe the captain said it's a 54-mile trip across the open water of Lake Superior to get to Isle Royale. About 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours I think it's going to take to get across there. So pretty soon we'll be leaving the land behind us in the distance. A couple hours into our journey, we now have a pretty good view of Isle Royale. You can see how long it is, over 40 miles long. It takes up the whole horizon. Isle Royale is the largest island in Lake Superior. The entirety of the island is contained within Isle Royale National Park. The park is the least visited in the lower 48 states. There are two areas of civilization on the island. Wendigo is on the west end, and our destination on the east end, Rock Harbor, is where we will begin our backpacking adventure. Thank you, sir.
First, welcome to Isle Royale National Park. I am so happy that you all are here on this beautiful summer day. I'm Ranger Carrie, and I will be giving you your orientation today. You have all just crossed over, if you're measuring by surface area, the largest freshwater lake in the world. You all know how big it is. You just spent the last 3 hours going across the surface of it. Your time on Isle Royale will be all your own, but many others before you have made the journey to this place. Isle Royale is also called Minong, which means the good place, by the Lake Superior Band, the Grand Portage Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa. The lands and waters of Minong, or Isle Royale, are part of the ancestral homelands of the Ojibwe Anishinaabe peoples who have cared for this place since time immemorial.
We have arrived at Isle Royale finally, and we are waiting in line to get our permits so we can head out and eat some lunch probably, because I'm starving. You starving? Check-in for our permit went smooth, and we are about to head out and hit the trail. It is a beautiful day, sunny, partly cloudy. Found our lunch spot with a beautiful view over the water, so a nice rock. So I think we're gonna chill here for a bit. So at this campsite, the 3 Mile campground, there's only a few tent sites, but a bunch of these shelters. All the tent sites were full, so we managed to snag this shelter house that we're going to sleep in tonight. We might have to share, we're not sure yet. There's quite a few people and maybe not enough campsites for everyone. Well, it started pouring, so the fact we have a shelter instead of in our tents is actually kind of a bonus now. A little bit more comfortable than being stuck in a tiny tent and dealing with wet gear. It doesn't tear easy. Gonna try a new dessert I haven't tried before. Blueberry peach crisp. It's one of my heavier things. I'm gonna try to shed this the first night so I don't have to carry it around anymore. I'll give it a try and let you know what I think. So it's got some rehydrated peaches and blueberries and stuff. It looks pretty good. We'll see. Not bad for a dehydrated dessert. We came out for a short little walk from our campsite and found some delicious wild blueberries. Last night we stayed in this shelter, and it actually proved to be a pretty good deal because it rained all night, but it was a little hard sleeping on the hard floor because I wanted to hopefully hammock. Maybe I'll get to later. My sleeping pad's pretty thin, so my hip is paying the price because I'm a side sleeper now.
That was great being in the shelter because it did rain all night last night. And unlike Brian, I don't mind sleeping on the hard floor. So I do miss the hammock. Hopefully tonight we'll get lucky and have a site where we can hammock at. We'll wait and see what's in store for us 8 miles down the trail.
You seem like you snooze pretty well, much better than I did.
Oh yes.
Yeah, we got some breakfast in us and we're ready to hit the trail soon. Here is the shelter we stayed in, and just down this trail takes you right to Lake Superior. Can't beat a view like that. Some of these sites along the lake have a dock for kayakers, and if the park needs to patrol and come and stop by over here. Takes a little away from being in the wilderness, but I understand why they have it. And we are off to our next campsite. This is a big day, 8 miles ahead of us, so I hope I'm up for it. I don't know if you can see it on this video or not, but the mosquitoes are swarming everywhere. That's how you get. Across the way over there on that island is the park headquarters where the employees stay when they're not at the visitor center areas or out patrolling the island. I guess they put it over there to kind of separate it from the rest of the park so it's not as intrusive to the wilderness. So down behind me here is an old open pit mine. I'm guessing they were mining for iron ore. I think there was a history way back in the 1800s before this was protected as a park where people would come here and do a little bit of mining. Not as big as the Keweenaw Peninsula or the Iron Range in Minnesota, but they still did a little bit of it here. And it goes all off back there in the distance behind me where those fences are, kind of keep people from falling in, I guess. Out that little inlet is the main part of Lake Superior. We're sheltered back here in the harbor. There's the Rock Harbor Lighthouse across there. Pretty cool. We've kind of entered a new terrain. Instead of following the lakeshore, we've gone up further on the ridge, and there's a lot of huge boulders and rocky areas that we're climbing across. Also, now that we're up higher, there's blueberries everywhere, so it's hard not to bend over and grab a snack every once in a while. There's blueberries everywhere up here. The fireweed reminds me of Alaska, maybe the Rocky Mountains too. Love that stuff. Pretty. We're seemingly on top of the world right now. Up on this ridge, the breeze is wonderful. We've seen quite a bit of evidence of moose by their poo, but we have yet to encounter these mystical beasts. I'm hoping to still see one on this trip sometime. These are very strange giant leaf plants. Looks like we're in a prehistoric jungle with dinosaurs. We finished our 8-mile trek from 3 Mile Campground to here. We're at Moskey Basin, and we have a awesome campsite. We also snagged a shelter right back there behind me, and we're out on this awesome bay on Lake Superior that's on the island here, and there's looks like some really good swimming spots to clean off the grime and grub from our long trek here. There's some pretty cool birds flying around, so I think we couldn't have found a better spot. I think we'll enjoy the rest of our afternoon. So for lunches while I'm backpacking, I like to try to keep it simple. I bring tortillas and pack peanut butter and jelly. Found these packets of jelly on Amazon and this little squirt bottle of Skippy peanut butter at the grocery. And that's all there is to it. I'm about to jump into Lake Superior here and clean up. I felt the water with my hand. It feels really freezing cold. Last summer, we jumped off the rocks at Marquette, Michigan into Lake Superior, and it was kind of like being electrocuted, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah, it's pretty cold. It's actually not as bad as I was expecting it to be. Here goes nothing. I'm going all the way in. Need my soap though. Here we go. Woohoo! Yeah. Cold. Feels good not drinking it though, right? Yeah. If you don't like snakes, what we just found is a thing of nightmares. Luckily, they're just garter snakes, though. So there's a whole huge swarm of garter snakes all over the place in here. Just masses of them everywhere. So the sun is looking a little weird because we're still dealing with Canadian wildfire smoke. All the way from Canada, it's come down here to Isle Royale. This is a new brand I got at REI Trailtopia. It's triple berry crisp dessert. We're gonna try it out, and I don't know if you can see in there, there's some dehydrated strawberries and stuff, so I'm hoping this is as good as it looks like it might be. Well, the fruit has been rehydrated. It looks really, really good. I'm gonna add the crisp stuff now. Looks very yummy. Here is the final taste. This is probably the best trail dessert I've ever had. It's good. One of the bummers about most of the campsites we've come across here is a lot of them don't allow fires, so once it starts getting dark outside, you just kind of go to bed because there's no fire to sit around and keep warm. But it does allow us to get up and get an early start in the morning. And tomorrow we're actually going to go cross the whole island south to north and get to the other side and see what it looks like over there. This is the jet boil. This is super fast water heater that we use when we backpack. Helps us to save and conserve on our fuel since it can heat water up so quickly. I don't bother with real coffee, but got to deal with the instant coffee. Still gives me the caffeine kick I need. So we would have had a beautiful sunrise from our campsite right here, but instead we have this blood sun or whatever. There must still be a lot of smoke in the air. Right now we should be feeling the warm rays of the morning sunshine, and all we see is this big red dot in the sky.
Hey, Beaver.
We are all packed up and getting our bags on and ready for 8.4 miles. We're super excited. Hopefully it'll be really rugged and bouldery and beat us up before we get to our next campsite at McCargoe Cove, I think it's called. Is that right?
Something like that.
Something like that. Which is on the north side of the island on an inlet from Lake Superior there. So here we go. We have made it to Lake Richie. Most of the trail's actually been about like what you see, just kind of packed dirt, so we've had some pretty fast going to get here. About a little over 2 miles we've covered already. The mosquitoes have been especially bad through this section. I don't know why. We're just kind of low-lying, kind of marshy maybe. Apparently my DEET is not working as well as I had hoped. Pretty interesting. The ferns here are really tall, like almost up to my chest in some spots. It's kind of like walking through a tropical rainforest or something. They're everywhere, all around me on all sides. So these berries are called thimbleberries, and they are edible. And there's a ripe one right there I'm gonna grab. Tastes kind of like raspberry. We made it to Chickenbone Lake, which is about 2/3 of the way to our destination of McCargoe Cove. And we are going to eat some lunch and recharge for that last 2.7 miles, I think. So, still got a pretty nice spot to have some lunch though. We made it to McCargoe Cove and snagged another shelter. So that's 3 in a row we haven't had to actually use our tents. And we're up here on a hill overlooking the cove back there, and it was a really hot hike over here. The sun's been shining a lot of the time, and we're gonna go jump in and take a dip. All right, I'm going in.
Friday.
It's kind of muddy in spots.
Friday.
Feels good.
Yeah, we're on the very southwest corner of Michigan.
About
Next September, she's getting me tickets to the Penn State.
Oh, by the way,
oh, were you?
That's not my boat.
What's up, buddy?
We got here to the docks and somebody pulled up in a boat, and I think they are taking a hike. That's why that's there.
I think what?
So this is a first for me. I had a leech on me earlier. I've never had a leech on me in my entire life, but there's a first time for everything, I guess. And we pulled it off, and now I got this going on. So gotta play Red Cross first aid nurse guy to myself and stop this bleeding. We took a little excursion from our campsite. About a mile from our campsite is this old mining site, the Minong Mine. and it is way deep down in there. Can't even see how far down in there it goes. It goes into a tunnel or some kind of shaft. Cool. You can even see the old mine car track going through here. That's pretty cool. This part over here is completely flooded water. This opening seems like it's a cave-in because if you look back where we came in here at the train tracks, they're now buried under this slide from this opening. Probably every winter the freeze-thaw cycle comes down and cracks off a little more, I'm guessing. Mining is one thing I never had any desire to do. It's kind of fun exploring a little bit, but I would never want to do it for a job. From what we read on an interpretive sign, this was the most productive copper mine on the entire island of Isle Royale, and it dates back to the 1870s time frame, so 150 years ago or so. This looks like a big tailings pile. So all the mining rock they dug up out of their shafts, they discarded right here. I'm not sure what that is out there. Here's a chunk of metal from something. Still lots of evidence laying around here from 150 years ago. More mining relics. Over here we got some too. Not sure what this stuff was. That one looks like it has a small rail, like a railway rail welded to it. Running under this, there's a train track, an old train track. There are piles and evidence of the mining all around this now wetland. I don't know if it was always a wetland. Looks like they were almost trying to build a causeway across the middle of it. Oh, I think there's another mine back there. Let's check it out. This appears to be an old bucket of some type. It's kind of cool. Got another horizontal shaft mine. Woo! Anybody here? There's a really cool old rail, mine rail right there. Found some really cool artifacts here. I don't know if they were moved here by people or they just use this as like kind of a dump, but there's some old mine rails and I don't know what that wheel is, but that's pretty cool. And a lot of buckets, old buckets and stuff. Another mine car rail here. Just being retaken by the forest. More artifacts up here, as well as some malt balls from our local moose. We saw this rocky outpoint on the way back from the mine that looked like it might provide a view. I don't know if you can see in the video or not, but we can see the actual Lake Superior proper off in the distance. It's still pretty hazy from Canadian smoke, so it's hard to see, but it is there. Pretty decent view compared to some of the ones that we've been across that are just blocked in by trees. That's the lake right there in the middle. It's hard to tell, but it's there. It's just kind of fogged in right now. The McCargoe Cove campground was paid a visit by one of the friendly and playful locals. This has been a really nice site here. We had a really relaxed evening. We chilled out on the dock down there with some of the neighboring backpackers, and we also got entertained by a really playful fox. And it's nice to see some blue sky. We haven't seen much of that since we've been here because of the smoke that just kind of kept a gray haze over everything. This is the furthest we're going to be going out from Rock Harbor, and we'll be heading back towards that tomorrow. So we have a couple more nights to go, but it's been really a great place here. I mean, it's amazing nature, peaceful island. It's been really great having these shelters. We weren't expecting that. We thought we were going to have to tent it most of the time. Keeps the bugs out and provides a nice dry place if we get a passing shower. And this one has an amazing view. Looks out over the water there in the distance. Biscuits and gravy is on the menu this morning. It's the last of my big breakfast meals, so I will be a little bit lighter after this. The sun is coming up and there's a blue sky up ahead, which we haven't seen since we've been here, so it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. We're heading to Daisy Farm after leaving McCargoe Bay here, and from this point forward we will be heading back towards Rock Harbor. Nothing left behind.
We're good.
All right, goodbye McCargoe Cove. We are on the East Chickenbone Trail now, and we've come to this bridge over a really pretty little stream. This is kind of the first stream of any significance we've seen this whole trip on this island. Well, we made it back to Chickenbone Lake, so we're about 1.8 miles from McCargoe Bay. It's been not too bad of a trail, but it has been some pretty decent climbs. And I actually startled a moose just a little bit ago. I looked up and all of a sudden there was a big brown blur, and then it sounded like a dump truck driving through the forest. So that's our first moose encounter. I didn't get to take a picture or anything, but maybe we'll still see one. We finally got up on top of the Greenstone Ridge, and this is the kind of views that I was hoping to see. Views down low along the shore are pretty awesome, but this is the first high up vantage point we've seen. In the middle off there in the distance is the Sleeping Giant, which is in Ontario, Canada, across the waters of Lake Superior from Isle Royale. There's a little bit closer view. You can see the lake in between there. That's Canada across there. We dropped our packs because there was a sign for a viewpoint, and we climbed up these rocks, and there's amazing, probably 180 degree view, all of the north shore of Isle Royale. Here is why they call this Daisy Farm. We've made it to Daisy Farm, and this is what we plan on doing for the rest of the day. Nice, relaxing chill in the shade. There's a busy little beaver here that's built himself a little dam leads right out to the lake. This is our last night, hopefully out in the wilderness. I use that word loosely because we have a shelter to stay in, but we are hoping to get an early start tomorrow and leave Daisy Farm here and make our way all the way back to Rock Harbor. We're going to try to get as early a start as possible because it's pretty crowded this last stretch, and we want to make sure we can get a campsite for tomorrow night in Rock Harbor, and there we'll be able to hang out in the more established area where the visitor center is, and I think there's a little bit of a restaurant and some shops and stuff. So get packed up, get a good night's sleep, and hit the road early tomorrow. And we are off on our last 7 miles back to Rock Harbor, and this crazy long journey across this island will be over. I think maybe there's cheeseburger waiting us at the end. That's what the rumors say. So we'll enjoy our last bit out here in the wilderness, and we'll be back in civilization. Civilization. Time to indulge in a little luxury now that we have returned to the land of yummy Mountain Dew and other things. We just finished an ice cream sandwich too. Right back there is the boat that we will be taking back to the mainland. We got here to Rock Harbor again today, and we're just gonna spend our time enjoying this area here. We got to have a nice burger at the grill, so it was good to eat some real food after eating dried stuff for the past 5 days, and we can't wait to get back home. It's been a while since we've been home. All in all, it was a great time out here. We got to explore a lot, and we hiked over 35 miles. I'm not sure on the exact total till Glenn gets his data back from his GPS, but there was some awesome sights to see on the island. We have never used our tents the entire time. We hauled it on our back for 35 miles, but the shelters that they have here is what we ended up using. We didn't even realize that that was an option. But it was good to have the tent in case they were full, so it is what it is. This is a really pretty place to see. It's one of the few places that is truly remote wilderness that doesn't have access to the outside world besides these boats and occasional seaplane that bring people here. So if you really want to get away from it all, this is the place to come. We don't even have any Wi-Fi or cell signal at all here. There is some only at the lodge if you stay there and pay to stay there. We did talk to the desk clerk there, and she was able to get us a message back to our family to make sure everything was okay back there, but we weren't able to deliver the message ourselves. The weather has turned really beautiful here, clear blue skies, and a lot of the smoke is cleared out, so we're going to enjoy the rest of our sunny day and relax before our journey back home. So it turns out we actually got on the boat today, and we were able to get on the standby list. We thought we were going to have to wait until tomorrow when our originally scheduled time was, but we made better time on the trail and got back soon enough to nab a spot on the boat. So off to Copper Harbor we're heading. Sky.